Hey everyone, Scott here to discuss Old, starring Gail Garcia Bernal, Vicky Krieps, Rufus Sewell, Alex Wolff, Thomasin McKenzie, Abby Lee, Nika Omika Bird, Ken Leong, Eliza Scanlon, and Inbeth Davis, and directed by M. Night Shyamalan. Welcome back to M. Night, guys, and I gotta say, after Glass, I was looking forward to this one. And what do I think of the movie? Well, I had to go twice because I had to first viewing had to witness the movie as it was, and the second viewing, I'm gonna just say it now. I regret going to the second viewing of this just to show my hand a little too early because, well, that's what the show's for. But this is when I had to take notes. Let's get into the movie, and you'll see what I mean. We open in the Dominican Republic with a family led by Guy, played by Gail Garcia Bernal, Priska, played by Vicky Krieps, Maddox, played by Alexa Swinton, who's Tilda Swinton's niece, as a kid, and Trent as a little boy, played by Nolan River, as they arrive at the hotel and meet the staff, and Idlib, who's the nephew of the manager, as I don't get to know these characters very well. And we learn something later on that Priska is having an affair with, and they go on vacation because she and Guy are going to split up. And the acting in this movie is horrible, as better in movies like, and Gael Garcia Bernal is better in movies like Babel and Rosewater, but his performance in Pixar's Coco, where he's Grandma Coco's father, which I'll get to sometime, who loves music, and Vicky Krieps, who was better in Phantom Thread than in this god awful thing. And we barely know these characters, and the camera moves kind of badly throughout the movie. The manager recommends a private beach where they'll get stuck at, as they don't know at the time, as we also meet Charles, played by Rufus Sewell, Crystal, played by Abby Lee, Grandma Agnes, played by Kathleen Chalfant, and daughter Kara, played by Michaela Fisher, as well as a couple Jaren, played by Ken Leung, and his wife Patricia, played by Nikki Amuka Bird, as she has a stroke, and the manager sends M. Night, let's call him, because he's played by M. Night Shyamalan, to drive everyone except for Jared and Patricia, as they show up a little later, and as they arrive, they see a frightened rapper mid-sized Satan, played by Aaron Pierre, as he knows he doesn't tell anyone about the beach, and as the kids play hide and seek, Trent sees a dead woman in the water, as she was nude, and they work very hard to not show her privates because this is a PG-13 rated movie, and Sedan knows something happened to that woman that was off screen, and all these people are bad in this movie. I don't like the characters, particularly Jaren and Patricia arriving at the beach, and I get the impression Charles is a racist because he doesn't like Sedan. And again, with the racism after this and the Forever Purge, as Universal should knock that shit off. Excuse my French. As Jaren blacks out while trying to exit the beach, and winds up back on the beach, and Maddox, Trent, and Kara grow up in age after 30 minutes, as they're played by Thomasin McKenzie, Alex Wolff, and Eliza Scanlon, and this is the point when the movie doesn't make any sense, as I'll explain in the next segment. Agnes dies, and Sedan tries to escape, and Charles goes after him in the cave, and they both black out, and they all test it and get back to the beach out of the blue, as Charles has a knife and cuts Sedan in the face, as his face is not cut but scarred. And these shots are horrendous, as it goes into circles like M. Night, just stop it, as he's not trying to focus on the characters, he's trying to focus on, like, things that are not going on in the movie. Just stop it, M. Night. My goodness. As the turn of events done in this movie is just like a what the hell moment. Patricia talks to everyone about why they're on the vacation, and Priska has a tumor size of a golf ball as she's knocked out, and Charles and Jaren perform the surgery, as Charles brings up a movie with Jack Nicholson and Marlon Brando, as he can't remember the name of it, and I thought, really, M. Night? as it was eye-rolling. It wasn't really the right time to bring it up, in my opinion, anyways. Charles removes the tumor from Priska and heals up rather quickly, which doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Sedan sees the woman he was with as turned into bone after hours, as it takes 7 years for the body to turn into just bones, and Guy has wrinkles on his face, and while Trent and Kara lay down next to one another, and the sound design is really bad, as when we get behind someone talking, the sound design gets really loud, which is a questionable choice on M. Night's part. Kara eats spaghetti salad, as that was laughable. And the next thing you know, Kara is 5 months pregnant after 20 minutes, as it again was laughable. As the audience on my second viewing were laughing both times. It was so bad. Kara is having a baby, and Crystal walks away from the situation, and Kara, I thought some mother she is. Not, and not, I'll say. And the next thing you know, the baby is dead after 30 seconds, which makes no damn sense. As Charles stabs the sand, almost blames Jaren, and I thought, oh my god, this is so bad. Maddox and Crystal confess when she was Maddox's age, a boy she thought was ugly found her attractive, and the next thing you know, Charles stabs Sedan, and Guy takes the knife away, and I thought, what the hell is this? Jaren goes in the water to swim his way out, as he was on the swimming team, which is a little something for the character that is unlikable in my opinion. We see someone spying on everyone to see if they survive it. And come on, I knew from my first viewing it was M. Night, as it was too obvious. Maddox learns that Priska was going to leave her father Guy as she had an affair, and that was so telegraphed. I can't freaking believe this. And Maddox gets away from Priska to have some alone time, to think as she goes in the water, she finds Jaren dead, and as soon as he left, I immediately knew he was dead, as it was also telegraphed. Kara tries to climb the rocks and gets dizzy and stops and falls to her death, and I knew from that moment she was doomed, particularly in the trailer as it was shown there, as well as this death was super laughable, as this movie falls apart right off the bat. Go figure. Patricia has another stroke and dies, and none of this is making sense at all. Guy becomes partially blind, and do I care at this point? Not at all, as Priska is deaf in one ear, and Crystal becomes an old lady, as I don't care anymore. Guy confesses he saw Priska's text messages, and I knew that moment was coming after the hotel scenes at the beginning, as this movie he calls himself a coward, and we get the one PG-13 F-bomb in that scene. Meanwhile, Maddox and Trent read a journal of some kind, and I feel bad for Thomasin McKenzie, as she was really good in Jojo Rabbit, and I'm looking forward to seeing her again in Edgar Wright's Last Night in Soho in October if they ever get that thing released. And Alex Wolff, I hear, is really good in Hereditary and Nicolas Cage's Pig, which also he was in recently, as I reviewed him in a few times in the latest two Jumanji films and Patriots Day, and thought he was good in those, but here they're pretty bad. Charles grabs the knife back and takes a stab at Guy and somewhat Priska, and Maddox and Trent go to the cave and see Crystal as an older woman as she kills herself, and I thought, what the hell is this movie? I mean, my god. Charles turns old himself and has a stroke and dies, which felt very unrealistic. Guy and Priska gets older by the minutes, and Maddox sings the song in the beginning of the movie that they sang as younger kids, as Priska is cold and Guy forgets what happened with the conversation before and why, and they want to leave the beach as it's pretty, and it is a pretty beach, but unfortunately it doesn't make me like this movie that much. Guy and Priska die on the beach from growing older, and M. Night just shoots away. And the scene happening, and I thought, just stop it, M. Night, jeez. The next day comes, and Trent and Maddox grow up to play played by Emin Elliott and Embeth Davis, as they make sandcastles, and they have a message from Idlib that decodes "My uncle doesn't like the coral," which is a twist in a way to get out of the beach, and they swim to the coral as Maddox is stuck on a coral, and we do see what I predicted, which is M. Night looking and seeing they didn't come out alive as the managers involved in the death of these characters, which I knew was the twist. But as the next family comes in for a vacation, as they get offered the same drinks they get at the beginning were offered as they first entered, and Trent comes up to the cop he met earlier in the film when he was smaller, and as the next family almost gets their drinks, Trent and Maddox are alive and says, "I wouldn't take anything from them," as they did get out of the coral by breaking one piece of the coral and get on a helicopter for reasons unknown and get the message from Idlib on the decoded message, as the climax is bull crap. And it makes no freaking sense, as I was glad this movie was over because it was just nothing but bull crap all over the place. And honestly, that song that they sing throughout the movie, plus in the credits, it's terrible. I don't like that song. Just, my goodness. Now it's time for the rating. I'll give this movie a 2.0 out of 10. This is one of the bad movies of M. Night Shyamalan, as he wasn't even trying to do this movie, as it makes no sense. The audio was terrible, as M. Night filmed it like the characters didn't matter, and I thought, stop it, M. Night. The characters are horrible to watch in this movie, as the acting was terrible, and I felt bad for Alex Wolff and Thomasin McKenzie, as they were stuck in an unfortunate script in a lame movie. The twists were predictable, as the choices were bad. And after Split and Glass, I wanted more M. Night, but here now, I don't want any more M. Night movies, as he should stop making them, because this movie was bull crap. And again, M. Night, don't make any more movies, okay? You're trying too hard. Give up. So I'd like to thank you guys for joining me for this one, and until M. Night decides to make another bad movie, what the twist?